Hi everyone, it's Kat. I'm just doing a test stitch with me to see if this particular setup would actually work or not. I don't know how long this is going to be. Like I said, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this or even if this is even going to get posted, but if it is, it's just a test, so to get feedback and stuff like that. Keep in mind, I do everything with my phone, so very basic and that sort of thing. I'm not going to go and get a bunch of extra cameras because this is not the sort of thing that is normal for me. But hey, let's give it a go. I don't know, it's late at night. Right, so what I'm working on is a new start for me, which is this one here. It's from the Just Cross Stitch magazine 2022, Halloween 2022. This is my second attempt at it, and I'm hearing the storm outside. So I'm changing it all as usual. It's getting stitched on 14 count Ada. This is the woolly bear that I did my Park Your Broom on by Mystic Fabrics. Absolutely love this fabric, and I've got enough left that I can do a few small ones on it as well, so I'm very happy about that. Because I'm going to unstitch this part here because I decided I'm not going to put the other one on there. And instead of using DMC and a heap of different colours, I've used Etoile, the 310 for this part, and the black for the frame. Although I've been trying to work out whether I'm actually going to do the entire frame or whether I'm just going to do it like the L shape, which is sort of more likely what I might do, just something a bit different. So I just need to finish doing down the bottom here for that. The cat I'm going to do in Whisper thread, in the black Whisper. But for now I'm going to work on Death, and I'm using sulky threads. So where did I put them? Here they are. Okay, so the three sulkies that I've chosen are these three here. So hopefully you can see them nice and clear. So we have got the variegated brown. Just going to bring this back down more comfortable. And this is 4011. I don't know which way I'm supposed to hold this up because I don't know how this is going to end up when I actually start doing it. So it's 4011 is the brown. The green, which is going to be for his skin and stuff like that, this variegated, is 4088. And this is going to be the grey that's going to be used on his cloak, and that is 4034. So I have my needles already loaded. I don't know what I'm doing here, so it's going to be a very awkward way to stitch, but we're going to give it a go and see if this is actually going to work for me, let alone for you. There was a couple of things I was going to ask in regards to it. Now, I could either talk all the way through it, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Trust me, I can gabble till the cows come home. But, there we go. Already found one mistake. So am I going to frog it? Of course not. Don't be stupid. Gabble, 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 gabble. That's what I was talking about. Oh no, I'm not going to. That's right, because it's a single strand. Oh, here we go. So, see, this is the first time I'm using sulky, so it's going to be a lesson for me as well. Now, I know, I know, don't use me as an example to start, because, and yeah, I know there's that pin start and all that other sort of gear. This is how I've done it for 20 years, and I'm happy with that. I know what I'm doing with this one. All these other ones would just drive me bananas. So, I'm just going to stick to doing it the way that I'm happy and that I know how to do it. I'm not a fancy stitcher. I'm probably not a speedy stitcher either. I don't, do one at the top, one at the bottom on a stand and all that sort of stuff. I have actually tried doing the, on the scroll thing. I have actually tried to do the, one hand at the top, one hand at the bottom. Hell no, that's so not for me. No, I'm not that coordinated to be able to do that. I'm going to try and keep my swearing down to a minimum, but just so you know, I do often mutter a few words if I'm not happy with something. So this is my first time using Sulky, and I'm hoping you guys are able to see okay, because like I said, I'm just using my phone, nothing fancy. What I'm hoping is that if this relatively works out, then I might, sorry, trying to get the chart out of the way. I'm hoping that more people will do these just in little sort of snippets. Frog. There we go. Finger just dropped it. It's alright. And because I'm doing it on this weird angle for me to stitch it on, it's a little tricky for me to see what I'm doing. So I'm doing a lot of this by touch, which when my eyes are acting up is something that I do normally. So I'm not a tidy stitcher. I'm not one that follows rules. I just put an X in, and it may not be the right way to put an X in. It may not, whatever. And this is an interesting thread to use. I'm not sure I would say that it is as thick as 2 strands of light DMC. It is thicker than 1 strand, but I don't know if I can say there is 2. It's cool to use though. It goes through really nicely. So this is sort of almost like a review thing on Sulky, isn't it? I think I have a knot in that, don't I? Bollocks. Okay. So in the background you might hear Margarita's Marzipan and Murder, which is a Kate Bay audiobook murder mystery from Harper Lynn. It's a series of 10. I think this is book 3, I think. And so the option is either I can talk through these dang things, or maybe in some it'd be a case of we're just going to listen to the audiobook. The only thing is they're like 2 hours long, and I don't think I want to record for 2 hours. But maybe you can go and find the book and then carry on listening to it if you like what you're hearing. Or if I end it on a cliffhanger point, I can't see where I'm going. This fabric is a little soft. I've just got it in my Q-snap. I don't stitch in the ditch because I did try doing that, but it was just really quite I know, I just found it really hard. I found it awkward for me, and so I stick to doing it on the hill. That's what I call it anyway. I don't know what the correct term is. I know stitching in the ditch is the other way, but I stitch on the hill because I'm stitching on the top. And as you can see, when I'm holding my, I always have excess fabric. So a lot of people sort of comment that, you know, you stitch in the ditch means you're not touching the fabric and all that sort of stuff. I don't. I touch the underside. So my finger, you know, my fingers aren't on it. It's quite a nice variegation. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. So, but I need quite stiff fabric so that even when my sight is a bit off, I can just do it by touch instead. There we go. Because I can make it quite taut, and then I can sense the needle with my fingers help underneath holding it there. So yes, I'm doing this one as part of the Halloween challenge page stitch along. You can do any of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine designs, doesn't matter which year. To enter, it's over 9 weeks. I am doing Witchy Tea Time, but these big blocks of black, and it doesn't hold my attention for very long at all, and so I tend to just switch off, and it's like, yeah, nah. Either that or it makes me go to sleep. When I have ones that I have to focus on a little more, or count, or stuff like that, it has a better chance of keeping me awake. Big blocks of one colour tends to make me sleepy. So I try to avoid those. Now, this is actually my second attempt at doing it, and when I had a look at my last attempt at doing this stitch along, the camera was too far away and you really didn't see any of the stitching. Not that I'm sure you're going to be able to see a lot of it now, I don't know, but I know the camera is closer, so I'm hoping. And I've also got this in a different position, so it's making it a little more weird. I just, like I said, it's just a test thing to see if it's something that I'll do. I suppose I'm an example of self-taught, finding what way works for me. And no, it may not be strictly the correct way to do things, and my stitches might go all over the place and stuff like that, but my end results are good. So it's just what works for me to get something that's aesthetically pleasing at the end of it. And that's what I keep on sort of saying to people: march to the beat of your own drum. Because quite often when you try to find, follow how other people do things and that sort of thing, you tend to sort of, one, not enjoy it as much, two, struggle quite often because it may not be a natural way for you to do something, along those lines. So it's just easier, getting the idea of how to do things, get the ideas, get the options and stuff, and then figure out how that can work best for you. I mean, you would have seen sometimes I go from top to bottom, sometimes I go from bottom to top. Not overly consistent cat. It's just how I stitch. I don't mean to make it more difficult for anyone or anything like that, but I must say I do like the coverage of this sulky. It is looking rather good. I've got to do another half stitch there. Helps if you can put the needle in the other end. Okay, so this sulky doesn't cover too badly. This is on 14 count of the sulky. And the reason I wanted to try out the sulky is because I'm going to do some black work, and I'm thinking of using the sulky thread for it. But I just wanted to sort of see how it's stitched up. The sulky glowy is definitely a lot thinner, and you need to use a couple of strands of the sulky glowy. Actually, I used 4 strands. In some areas on the one that I used it on, I used 4 strands. Other ones I used 3. Oh, bollocks. Okay, bollocks is the only swear word I'm hopefully going to be saying. Hopefully. Hey, monkey. Yeah. He's going to come up and knock this. Yep, there we go. See, there he is. This is where he sits the majority of the time. So yes, I am in bed. So it's another pajama party. There you go. Different PJs. Of course. And it's because I don't have anything that will hold a camera over my head apart from what I've got attached to my bed head, which is just like a bendy thing that attaches onto the headboard. And I just clip my phone into it. I usually have it for like when I'm doing pattern keeper, all that sort of thing, so that I can just have the phone sitting in front of me to follow. There we go. So there we are. It's quite cute. I actually quite like that variegated in there. I wasn't sure which one I was going to use, but I'm happy I chose that one because I think it was supposed to be like a green, and there's going to be some more on his hand. And I'm going to get attacked by Monkey because I need to get the scissors which are under his butt, and he hates me doing that. Well, don't sit on them then, and then it won't be an issue. How's that, Bob? Okay. So next to death. Oh, yeah, and you're sitting on my pattern. Where's my pattern, Monkey? You're right on it. I need you to move. I do, because I need the pattern. See, I tried to get him to move earlier tonight because I needed to get my scissors out from under him, and he scratched the heck out of my hand because I dared to attempt to move him. It's like, how dare you? I mean, he's back again, so he doesn't go for long. Here he is. It's like, he'll come back. He always does. So that's his spot. Apart from when I say the word C-U-D-D-L-E-S, and then Bobby knows it's his turn. I have to spell it because as soon as he hears it, he's up here, and then there's a bit of an argument between him and Bobby, Monkey and Bobby. So like I said, I probably don't tie on properly or tie off properly. I don't give a rat's. I do it my way because that's what works for me, and I know it's something that I can do. So if that offends anyone, oops. I don't do it for I don't stitch for competitions or for, you know, major display or anything like that. And, you know, I mean, they're not, you know, it's not absolutely messy. So I do try to keep it nice and neat and tidy and stuff like that, but I do it in my way, and I'm happy doing it that way, even though it may not specifically be correct. So now I'm using the brown. I'm just a bit worried that because it's using this, I'm on this fabric, that it may not show up, but we'll see how it goes. And if it blends in a bit too much, then I'll just add some backstitch to it later on. Maybe with the black or the dark brown. The 3799 is the grey, isn't it? What's the brown? 3371? Is that the dark brown? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's showing up for you guys, but it is showing up for me. I'm going to have to rewind my audiobook so I can hear it. Because I'm missing clues. Not that you get a lot of clues, I will say, in this book. Put the chart down there. Okay, so what was I going to talk about? Maybe a little bit of my travels. Oh, the reason why I love this chart. I mean, not only because, you know, just it's, I mean, to me it's funny, but it's also very me in regards to how many lives a person has, because I'm sure I must be up to 9 by now. When I was born, I had tetanus, which turned into septicemia, and the doctors told my mum I had, you know, 24 hours. Obviously, they were wrong. And then when I was 4, my brother and my sister and me were out at the beach. We were out in the water, and all the family was there. It was, I think, around Christmas time, or I don't know, something like that. It was a big family day down at the beach. And my brother, my sister, and myself got caught in a rip. And my sister was 8, my brother was 10, and I was 4. And by the time they got me in, because they got my brother and sister pretty quickly, by the time they got me in, I was gone, and they had to bring me back, which obviously they did. And then I've been in 14 car accidents, none of which I was driving. I'm just going to point that out. I was the passenger for all of them. And I was also the only one that was ever injured in any of the accidents. So, you know, I've had broken cheek, dislocated shoulder, whiplash multiple times, broken ankles multiple times, knee damage, wrist damage, broken nose multiple times. At one point, my nickname at the hospital was Radiation Girl, because of the amount of x-rays I was constantly having every year. So the interesting thing is that when you're younger and you get all these injuries and that sort of thing, you know, I've had an axe in my leg, I've cut the top of my thumb off. I actually cut right through this finger a few years ago, right the way through, and they sewed it back on. Very lucky. My only question to the doctor when he was sewing it back on, because I was watching him sew it, and I was complimenting him on his sewing technique. Can I just say that? It's with no pain medication at all. But honestly, I think he thought I was just odd, because I wouldn't say yes to any pain relief. And but I was watching him sewing it back together, and I was complimenting him on his fantastic sewing technique, because I mean, look at it. It's really, really good. I mean, there's, you know, you could hardly tell that it was held on just by about 3 millimeters on the back of it, was all that was holding it together. And sorry if that gored you, sorry about that. But yeah, with all the different injuries and accidents and stuff like that, they used to call me Radiation Girl at the hospital, because they got to know me very well. But, you know, I'm still really lucky. I know that sounds weird, but I am. And then so that's why this one was, as soon as I saw it in the preview for the magazine, it's like, this is the reason I bought the magazine, this one chart. I hadn't really had a look at any of the others. This was what caught my eye, and that's what brought the, you know, that's why I wanted the magazine. So I was really happy about that. This is actually stitching up really nicely. I'd like to say hi to, not that I'm not saying hi to anybody else, but to the Canadians that might be watching, and that sort of thing. I was over there in 2004. I was in LA as well, and I was in England and let's see, Belgium, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, Germany, France, England, Singapore, Canada, and Chicago, New York, LA. Which was great. I nearly got to the Grand Ole Opry. My cousin, he played guitar there at the time, and the only thing that's on my bucket list is that I would like to stand on the stage, or left on my bucket list, is that I would like to stand on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry and just sing a few notes. Not with an audience there or nothing, just to stand on the stage and do that. And that's a childhood dream. That's one that I had when I was a little kid and I was performing, was to go to the Grand Ole Opry, because country music was always my first love, and it still is. I still love my country music. But I have a love for all sorts of music. I do have an appreciation for it. But I love my country. I'm a little bit country. Sorry. And so when I was in Canada, I wanted to go there to see where my dad grew up and meet the family, or some of the family, because my dad was the youngest of 14. Yeah, obviously you guys don't have much to do in the winter time. And I got to spend some of the time on the reservation, on the Six Nation reservation, which was incredible. It was awesome. And meeting some of the family there, and I got there at Thanksgiving, or just before Thanksgiving, and I was there for Thanksgiving. It was my first Thanksgiving, so that was in 2004, because my dad didn't celebrate anything like that. When he came to New Zealand, it was almost like his Canadian heritage didn't exist, and so we never heard about it. And then when Mum and Dad split up when I was 4 or 5 nearly, you know, it was even less informative. But Dad didn't have great memories of Canada. He was hit by a train when I was 2, and so a lot of his memories weren't really there. So it's not like I could ask him what life was like in Canada growing up and stuff like that, and him be able to tell me. So I got to go there in 2004, and I got to meet a big chunk of my family, and my cousin, you know, took me to a lot of places like Niagara Falls, Niagara on the Lake. We went to Toronto, and we my cousin plays ice hockey. One of my cousins plays ice hockey, or played, and so we went to Gretzky's, and we had dinner with Gretzky's dad, which was, I suppose, great. I don't know, because, you know, ice hockey's not big in New Zealand, and I don't know. I mean, I've heard of Wayne Gretzky, of course I have. But then, you know, hello, I'm not a big follower of any sort of sport, in all honesty. I used to follow Formula One when I was with my ex-husband, but that's because he was interested in it. I wouldn't even be able to tell you who the All Blacks are. You know, and that's our national sport. I don't understand sports people on such high pedestals, when really the ones that should be up on high pedestals are the police, the doctors, the nurses, people that save lives, not people that run around doing something that they love doing and getting paid stupid money for. Sorry, I don't get it. I would rather, you know, it's like, you know, movie stars and singers and stuff like that, putting them up on these huge pedestals and stuff like that. It's like, dude, they're doing something that they love doing, otherwise they wouldn't do it, and they're getting paid big bucks for it. You know, that's all the woohoo that they need. We should be woohooing our nurses and our teachers and our doctors and our police and our firemen and women and those that really do make a difference in people's lives. You know, the community workers and that sort of thing. Those are the heroes. I mean, don't get me wrong, musicians and actors and sports people and that sort of thing are great to encourage dreams and goals and stuff like that. But I don't know. Anyway, so we went to Gretzky's, which was great. Good food. And my cousin took me to a recording of the Red Green Show. I don't think that's on anymore in Canada, but it had been going for apparently like 25 years or something. It had been going for decades. And it was huge, apparently, over there. Everyone, from what when my cousin tried to describe it before we went to the recording, it was like a Home Improvement but Canadian version. I'm like, okay, fine. And when we got to the studio and we're standing in line ready to go into the recording studio room thing, there's all these people waiting to go in as well. And I will say it wasn't long after I first got to Canada, so I will say it gave me a little pause in regards to the mental state of Canadians. Lord love you. The only reason I say that is because a bunch of them, like the majority of them, actually I think apart from me and maybe 5 or 6 others, everybody else had something that they were wearing which was covered in duct tape. Yeah, I was like, what the... You know, my cousin just kept on saying, just wait till we get in there, just wait until you see it. You'll understand then. I'm like, okay. And he was right. Once I saw the episode getting recorded and that sort of thing, and how duct tape is basically, if anything's broken, duct tape will fix it. Then yeah, okay, that made a bit more sense. But then it also made more sense about my dad, because my dad was of the mindset that if it's broken, you fix it with duct tape. So obviously he brought that over from Canada. New Zealand has a phrase of number 8 wire. It's like, yeah, fix everything with number 8 wire. It's alright, just bodge it. Bodge it. So that was interesting and that was fun. And because it was my first ever Thanksgiving, I had my first ever pumpkin pie, and I was helping my aunt in the kitchen doing all the food preparation. And you know, because I was staying with one of my aunts and uncles, and we were preparing food in the kitchen, and she was preparing the pumpkin pie. And I was watching how she was doing it, and I said, you know, if you didn't go any further than this, you could make pumpkin soup. And she looked at me like I was a little bit loopy. Because they don't do pumpkin soup. Go figure. I'm hoping that you guys do now, because it is wonderful. That's right. And hang on just a second. So I explained to her about how wonderful pumpkin soup is. You know, that you just, you know, lovely big bowl of pumpkin soup, and you put a dollop of sour cream and a bit of grated cheese on top, and oh, some crusty bread. Oh, it's to die for. Absolutely. But no, so I had my first ever pumpkin pie, and can I just say, yes, I'm now a major fan, and I wish I could make it over here, but it's hard trying to find the right pumpkin in New Zealand, and we don't seem to have the canned pumpkin over here anymore. Not long after I came back, I was making pumpkin pies using the canned pumpkin that you see in a lot of the recipes. You can get canned pumpkin, and so I was using that, and then suddenly it was off the shelves and I never saw it again. And so I was a bit gutted because I haven't had pumpkin pie in years. The other thing that she made was, apart from pecan pie, and again that was a first for me as well, but sweet potato pie. Now apparently there's a debate over whether marshmallows or not. Is that right? Sweet potato pie with marshmallows or without marshmallows? I'm in the marshmallow fan club. I mean, don't get me wrong, it tasted nice without because my aunt made both, because apparently at these family get-togethers there's both sides of the fence. So she made both. And so of course I had to try both because, you know, I hadn't had either before. And you can't make an informed decision until you've tried both. So, yeah, I'm a marshmallow girl. I like the marshmallows on my on my pecan, sweet potato pie. And so that's something else. Actually, I might actually be able to make that over here. I might look up some recipes and see. Sorry. Oh boy. Okay. So I think I'm just going to take you to the end of this part. Oh my god, 36 minutes, seriously? God, I hope I haven't bored you guys and stuff. I'm so sorry. Didn't think it was going to be that long. It's interesting how much time goes when you're yakking away. I suppose it's a good test. That's if this ever actually gets posted, but we'll see. So if you're seeing this, then I've decided, okay, well, it's okay for a test, and I'm sure you guys can give me some feedback. Oh, there was a question I was going to ask for anyone that might be watching still, is if you know of any Zoom groups that meet like more than once a week online, for those of us that are insomniacs, that wouldn't mind stitching with other people, but because of anxiety won't go to events where they can be around other people. I would love to know some that maybe I could venture into, just to sort of try and become a little bit more of a community, and that sort of thing. So if you know of any, let me know. I mean, even multiple, because I don't mind joining in multiple ones, and it doesn't matter what the time zone is. It's like I've got such a screwed up sleeping pattern. I mean, I might not stay long for some of them, but it would be cool to come. Let me just have a quick look. Here we go. So yeah, I don't always keep my chart where I can visibly see it. I basically memorize the stitches, which is funny when you sort of consider how crap my memory is for a lot of things, but I can visualize patterns and shapes and that sort of thing better, and I can retain that information more. I'm a bit of an oddball. Okay, so 2 more stitches. I'm really liking his skilly face. So I've just got to do a little bit more green on his hands. Maybe I'll do that while I've got you on here too. I think that's all oh, there's green on both hands. Is that right? Okay. So I'll just do the last of the green, and then that's those 2 colours done. I was having a talk with Judy tonight, and even she'd like to know about some stitchy Zoom groups or stuff like that, that people can attend and just hang out, you know, almost like, you know how at StitchCon everyone was talking about the late night stitching and all that, whatever it's called. I loved that idea because I'd probably be more interested. I mean, I am more productive stitching late at night than I am stitching through the day. Through the day I get distracted, or it's hard to hold my attention for long, or you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, if there's one that for us is nighttime, yep, that's all good for me. Okay, so the hand is supposed to go in that gap there. Is that and that? Oh, that's easy. Okay. So yeah, so if you know of any, can you please comment or drop me a line, send me a link, whatever, to let me know where to find them. Like some of the old floss tubes that I've watched, they mentioned a lot of these, you know, Zoom get-togethers and stuff like that, and it just sounds so cool, you know, but not so much to stitch on a particular design or designer, you know, just to go and stitch. You know, I know there are ones out there that are specifically for specific designs or designers, and that's great, you know, cool. But just ones for like general, whatever you're in the mood to stitch on that night, and it may not be a particular topic of what that group usually stitches. So it'd be great if there was one that was just like a general stitch group. So if you know of any, because I know a couple of people that would love to go, it's available like more than one night a week to join into, then can you please let me know, because I'd really appreciate that. I would like to start to become more social. Just to give you an idea, I have, since lockdown in New Zealand, which was March 25th, 2020, I have spent a total of about 70 days around other people. And prior to lockdown, I'd already been diagnosed with social anxiety disorder, but because I'd been, you know, getting counselling and stuff like that, I had tools and I'd built up to be able to cope being around people and stuff like for work and that sort of thing. Well, obviously with all the lockdown and hardly being around people for the last 2.5 years, I struggle very much to even leave the house, let alone anything else. So I'd like to start trying to counter that by at least starting to interact more one-on-one with people, but I can't stitch and type. So, oh, that was the wrong cat. Where are you going with that one? And there I screwed it up. Okay. That was me getting distracted. There we go. Cheat. That's fine. So yeah, I would love to know any of those. Would be really, really good. If you know of anyone. Or any groups. Or if you're starting up a group and you want to do something like that, that would be really cool too. I would, but I'm not tech savvy. I'm great with ideas. I'm just not very good with actually working out how it works. My ex-husband did all that when I had my gift shop. Our website and that sort of thing. He was the web developer and design. I told him what I wanted on everything, and I designed layouts and how I wanted it to look. But I didn't do any of the technical stuff. I just sort of think, I don't know, it's like, is it that one there? No, we go down one. Ooh, that was close, cat. Okay, it's from that half point. Okay. So I'm great with coming up with ideas. That was the thing I was saying, is that I just have this thought in regards to computers and technology, is that if they're so smart, then they should be able to do all the things that a person can think of. So I never understood why there was an issue with some of the things I wanted him to do, because apparently computers couldn't do that. I'm like, well, if I can think it, why can't a computer do it? I'm hoping that by now technology has caught up with how my brain works, and those sorts of things are possible. So we'll just get these last stitches in, and then I'll sign off and get this edited, and we'll see how we go. And if I like how it edits, it'll get uploaded. If I don't, it will go into the netherworld of my delete bin and will just get recycled. Or I'll just keep it for a record for myself so I know what I'm doing. Because you know me, I don't write things down. I will say, from my floss tube, my last floss tube, my plan's already changing, because I was thinking, I've been struggling the last couple of days with my stitchy mojo. I've been trying to work out why. I've switched out projects and things like that, thinking, oh, maybe I just don't want to work on that, I'll work on this instead. But the interesting thing is, the ones that aren't grabbing me and wanting me to keep stitching are all my Halloween ones. I'm like, oh my god, the majority of my whips are Halloween ones. So there's a little bit of a concern. But, you know, I did say I've been getting interested in trying out new designers and all that sort of stuff, and now that I've got some of those designs and designers, I just want to try them. I want to start doing them, but I wanted to be able to to get rid of a bunch of these Halloween ones that I also wanted to get done. And I said, what I do, I started a new one, but it's small, and I'm having fun playing with it. So I'm going to have to maybe talk to Anna and just sort of say, I don't know if I'm going to do the Halloween challenge, because I have all these samplers and these quotes and these needle rolls and fobs and primitives and stuff I want to try. I want to give a go. And if I'm doing all these Halloween ones still to keep up with everything, I'm not going to have time to do all the other ones. I'm looking at the moment, and here's a shock horror, for a full coverage that I really want to do. I have narrowed it down to about 4, but none of them are Hayed, because none of the ones I've got of Hayeds are calling to me, and I have over 200 of the dang things. But none of them are sort of saying, yes, stitch me, or, you know, do me, because it's going to be, you know, something that's going to take a while, and it's going to be a project I want to keep doing and not get bored with and dismantle, which I have done when I've started. I have started a couple of Hayeds and they've been completely pulled apart. There we go. So that's where I'm up to, and I'm going to leave that there now, and we're going to get this uploaded, and we'll catch up next time, maybe. We'll see how this goes. Toodles.